All right, you guys, we're going to jump right into this with no introduction. There's a lot that I would like to speak with you guys about. Can't wait to hear your feedback. A lot of lies that are being put out there, narratives that I would say are half-truths or just misrepresentations entirely. And I don't really see the reason for that. First and foremost, I'll let you know, last week was not a dream. Charlie Kirk, my friend, is dead. And he was publicly executed. I want to make that clear. Charlie Kirk was publicly executed before the world. All right, you guys, happy Monday. Erica Kirk, man, she really is just the moment. The speech that she gave, everybody was just wowed by.
Breaking news, no one saw it coming. Not the cameras, not the screaming crowd, not even Charlie Kirk himself. In broad daylight, at the center of a packed auditorium, the man who once commanded thousands with his words fell silent forever. And what happened next wasn't just chaos, it was calculated. A moment so cold, so chilling, that even the strongest hearts froze. The police called it a lone wolf attack. But then came the cracks. Footage missing, CCTV blind spots, and a suspect who moved like he already knew the way out. Tyler Robinson didn't just show up. Someone showed him how. But here's where the story explodes. Just hours after Charlie's death, Erica Kirk, the woman everyone expected to collapse, stood in front of cameras without a single tear, and whispered a line that shook the internet to its core. "You have no idea what fire you lit in this woman." That one sentence set the world on fire. Hashtag Erica knows. Hashtag Kirk cover-up. A storm of betrayal, money, and power. And then, Candace Owens stepped in. Not to mourn, but to fight. Crying on live stream, she dropped bombshell after bombshell. Dark political ties, private meetings, secret calls made just hours before the attack. A betrayal, she claims, from inside the house. Joe Rogan broke the silence with just one line. Hundreds of people. And no one saw a thing? That's not an accident. Now, leaked files codenamed Sparrow Protocol point to hidden connections between Tyler and Erica Kirk. FBI silence only fuels the fire. This isn't just a tragedy. This is a ticking bomb. A betrayal buried under carefully crafted lies. This is not the story you saw on the news. This is the story they never wanted you to hear. No one expected the night to end in blood. Not the crowd. Not the cameras. Not even Charlie Kirk himself. What was supposed to be a fiery debate at Utah Valley University turned into one of the most chilling public betrayals America has ever seen. At first, it looked like just another rally, the lights, the chants, the flashing phones. But within seconds, the sound of screaming drowned out everything. A single gunshot ripped through the auditorium. The crowd froze. Phones shook. And in front of thousands, Charlie Kirk collapsed to the floor. Police were quick to paint the picture clean. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, acting alone, radicalized online, brought a rifle, fired once, and disappeared into the night. But the deeper investigators dug, the stranger it became. Tyler didn't panic. He didn't run like a man who just committed murder. He walked, calm, rehearsed, like someone who already knew exactly what to do. Evidence that should have sealed the case only raised more questions. CCTV footage from key angles vanished. Blind spots that no one was supposed to know about suddenly became Tyler's escape routes. Internal memos hinted at missing files and technical malfunctions. But no one believed those excuses. And then came the moment that turned this tragedy into a storm. Just hours after Charlie's death, while the nation mourned, Erica Kirk stood outside the hospital. No tears, no trembling hands, just cold, calculated calm. She leaned toward the mic and said, "You have no idea what fire you lit in this woman." That one line hit the internet like an explosion. Hashtags, hashtag Erica knows, and hashtag Kirk cover-up went global in minutes. Comment sections turned into war zones. Was this grief or something far darker? Neighbors began speaking up. Late-night arguments. Talks of money. Whispers about missing TPUSA funds. Things no one dared to say before. And then Candace Owens entered the scene like a match hitting gasoline. She didn't just question the narrative, she tore it apart, piece by piece. Her live stream went viral within hours. Tears streaming down her face, voice breaking with rage, she said, "This wasn't random. Someone opened that door from the inside." She didn't name names, but everyone knew where her eyes were pointed. Straight at Erica. People started dissecting everything about the widow. Her funeral outfit, her gestures, her slight smile in a still frame. The internet became an army of detectives, and Erica became the villain of a story no one saw coming. Then came the alleged audio leaks. Calls made from Tyler's phone to a mysterious contact saved as Mrs. K just 2 hours before the attack. No one could prove it was Erica, but the timing, the name, and the silence from the FBI made it feel like the truth was being buried. And then Joe Rogan broke his silence. Just one line on his podcast was enough to throw gasoline on the fire. Hundreds of people. And no one saw anything? That's not an accident. That quote spread faster than the original news of Charlie's death. People didn't just want answers anymore, they were demanding them. Meanwhile, leaked core documents hinted at a classified file called Sparrow Protocol. Whispers claimed it contained detailed information linking Tyler Robinson to private meetings involving Erica Kirk and unnamed political figures. Every leak made the story darker. Every silence from the authorities made it louder. Candace Owens promised she wouldn't stop. She looked straight into the camera and said, "They think they can bury the truth with Charlie, but I'll make sure the world digs it back up." Her words became a rallying cry. Across platforms, across borders, this wasn't just about a shooting anymore. It was about betrayal, power, and a woman who didn't shed a single tear. The official story was crumbling, and what lay beneath was uglier than anyone imagined. The stage where Charlie Kirk once shouted his truth had become the stage for something far more sinister, a betrayal buried in plain sight. And the world was no longer just watching. It was ready to burn. The story everyone thought they understood just got darker. In the hours following Charlie Kirk's death, the world was told a simple story: a radicalized young man, a single gunshot, an open and shut case. But as investigators dug deeper, the cracks widened into black holes. Tyler Robinson wasn't just lucky, he was prepared. Leaked reports reveal that he walked through unguarded corridors, slipped past security without triggering a single alarm, and vanished like a shadow. That kind of precision doesn't happen by accident. Someone gave him the map. Someone inside. And then, something even more chilling surfaced. Tyler's phone logs showed calls made to a contact named Mrs. K. The timestamp, just 2 hours before the attack. The FBI dismissed the logs as inconclusive, but no one bought that explanation. Online forums exploded. Who was Mrs. K? Why was she talking to the man who would pull the trigger on Charlie Kirk? The silence from the authorities only fueled the flames. Meanwhile, Erica Kirk's behavior continued to haunt the nation. As the memorial approached, she appeared in public again, this time dressed immaculately, standing tall, smiling faintly for the cameras. Not a single crack in her voice, not even a moment of visible grief. People started to whisper that she wasn't mourning, she was performing. Clips of her speech circulated online. Side-by-side edits compared her calm tone to the chaos of the attack. Every second of footage became evidence in the court of public opinion. Candace Owens wasn't done either. In a live stream that broke records, she leaned forward into the camera, her voice trembling with controlled rage. "You don't get that kind of access without help," she said. "You don't walk past security blind spots unless someone tells you where they are." Tyler didn't act alone. Someone standing next to Charlie betrayed him. Her words detonated like a bomb. Within hours, hashtags flooded every platform. Hashtag Inside Job. Hashtag Erica Knows. Hashtag Kirk Conspiracy. Anonymous accounts started posting what they claimed were internal documents. One file, marked Sparrow Protocol, allegedly described undisclosed meetings between Erica Kirk and unnamed political donors in the week leading up to the attack. Nothing was verified, but the sheer weight of the allegations shook the public. People no longer trusted the official story. They wanted blood. And then came the video. A leaked clip, allegedly recorded backstage a few hours before the debate, showed Charlie Kirk in a tense conversation with someone whose face was blurred. His voice cracked as he said, "If this goes wrong tonight, tell them I saw it coming." The internet froze. Theories exploded overnight. Some claimed Charlie knew he was being set up. Others said this was all part of a much bigger machine. But one thing was clear, this was no ordinary assassination. Joe Rogan's podcast reignited the flames. In a quiet, almost stunned tone, he said, "You're telling me a high-profile figure was gunned down in front of hundreds, and the system has nothing but blind spots and silence? That's not incompetence. That's design." His words poured gasoline on a raging inferno. Meanwhile, neighbors began leaking their own stories. Mysterious black SUVs parked outside the Kirk residence. Late-night shouting matches. A suspicious transfer of millions of dollars in the days before the shooting. The image of a grieving widow shattered. In its place emerged a shadow of someone who knew more than she would ever say. Candace Owens pushed harder. In her next live stream, tears streaked down her face as she said, "They think we'll forget. They think they can bury him twice, once in the ground and once with their lies. But not this time." Her words echoed through millions of screens. Even those who once doubted her were now listening. The FBI continued to stay silent. No answers. No new statements. Every unanswered question became proof in the eyes of the public. Erica's calm became a weapon used against her. The lack of transparency became the spark that ignited full-blown rebellion online. By the end of that night, the story wasn't just about Charlie Kirk's death anymore. It was about betrayal from the inside, powerful figures pulling invisible strings, and a woman standing at the heart of it all, silent, unshaken, and terrifyingly composed. The crowd that once mourned now demanded names. And in a storm built on secrets, silence was no longer safety. It was guilt. The truth isn't hiding anymore. It's screaming through the cracks. 3 weeks after Charlie Kirk's death, the clean, scripted version of events is collapsing. Every day, more pieces of the puzzle are surfacing, and they all lead to the same place. Inside, someone close to him, someone he trusted. Leaked transcripts from the FBI's sealed file have ignited the internet like wildfire. Messages, financial trails, and hidden communications point towards secret meetings that were never disclosed to the public. And at the center of these revelations stands one name, Erica Kirk. The woman once hailed as a grieving widow is now painted as a figure shrouded in quiet danger. The image of calm she showed the world isn't comforting anymore. It's terrifying, because the more she stays silent, the louder the truth gets. Tyler Robinson's role has now taken a darker turn. What started as a lone gunman narrative has been shattered. According to new leaks, Tyler's final route through the auditorium was mapped weeks before the event. Those routes matched the unmonitored areas of the building, blind spots only someone with inside knowledge could reveal, and that someone had access to Charlie's private security schedule. Then came the footage, a clip allegedly taken on a phone the night before the attack. Charlie is seen pacing a hotel room, clutching his phone, whispering to someone, "I know what they're doing. I just don't know when they'll strike." His voice cracks halfway through the sentence. It's not the voice of a man who feels safe. It's the voice of someone who feels hunted. The funeral, which was supposed to be a moment of unity, became a theater of suspicion. Candace Owens stood at the back of the crowd, tears streaming down her face, whispering into a mic, "They're all watching the wrong person." Meanwhile, Erica stood center stage, poised, flawless, untouched. The internet erupted in real time. Slow-motion analysis of her slight smirk during the memorial went viral within hours. Millions began asking the same question, was this grief or victory? And then came the most explosive revelation yet. A whistleblower claiming to be a former security contractor stepped forward anonymously, revealing that 2 weeks before the attack, a private meeting was held between Erica and 3 unidentified men at a property in Arizona. No media coverage, no witnesses. But financial transactions traced to the same night matched a $4.2 million transfer to an offshore account. This wasn't just conspiracy talk anymore. This was blood money on paper. Candace Owens, now the loudest voice in the storm, went live to millions. Her voice didn't shake this time. It burned. "He didn't die because of hate," she said. "He died because someone decided power was worth more than his life." Her words spread like fire, cutting through every platform. People weren't just speculating anymore. They were picking sides. The FBI's silence has become a headline of its own. No press conferences. No clarification. Just a wall of nothingness that the world now sees as guilt. The leaked name Sparrow Protocol, once dismissed as internet fiction, is now plastered on protest signs outside government buildings. People are demanding that the classified file be released. The night took an even more haunting turn when audio leaked from a private call allegedly between Charlie and his father days before the shooting. In the recording, Charlie says, "If anything happens to me, don't trust everyone in this house." The silence after that line is unbearable. It sounds like a goodbye wrapped in fear. Erica has still not responded publicly. No interviews, no press, just silence. And that silence is being weaponized against her. Her calm is no longer strength, it's evidence. Every second she stays quiet, the theory grows teeth. The world is no longer just mourning a man. It's tearing open a hidden wound, a betrayal buried beneath perfectly staged grief. The once loyal inner circle is now split down the middle. Protesters outside courthouses chant justice for Charlie. Online, hashtags have become battle cries. And in the middle of this storm stands a widow who may no longer be seen as a victim. This isn't the end of a story. This is the beginning of a reckoning. Someone pulled the trigger, but someone else loaded the gun. And now the world wants to know who. This isn't just another headline. This isn't just another tragedy the world scrolls past. This is betrayal, carved into history. A man trusted the people around him. A man who stood at the front of the stage with fire in his voice and faith in his heart. And he never saw it coming. They told us it was random. They told us it was one man. They told us to move on. But now we know. The silence wasn't protection. It was cover. Missing footage. Secret calls. Leaked files. Cold smiles. Everything points back to the shadows that stood closest to him. The betrayal didn't come from strangers. It came from the inside. Candace Owens is screaming into a void. Joe Rogan called it what it is, not incompetence, design. Millions of voices are rising. Every unanswered question is turning into a demand. Every blind spot is becoming a spotlight. This isn't about politics anymore. This is about a man who trusted and was betrayed. As the world watches, one question echoes louder than lies. Who pulled the strings? Because one person may have fired the shot, but someone else made sure that shot was never stopped. Don't let them bury the truth with Charlie Kirk. Don't let this become just another mystery they quietly erase. Share this. Talk about it. Flood the silence with noise. They wanted control. They didn't expect a storm. The truth is bleeding through the cracks. And when it breaks wide open, no one will be able to hide. This isn't the end. This is the beginning of the reckoning.